What's going on, everybody? It's Lion Dutchman here, and today I'm gonna do a drifting video, or top 5 drifting games on PS4. The reason for that is, apart from being able to drift in a game, it's more and more being implemented as a separate mode or even a separate game. And I realized I had 5 drifting games, which are games that are able to drift and like decent enough to call it a drifting game. And I wanted to make a video about that and show you guys what I think, what order I'm gonna place them in. Of course, this is my opinion. If you think a certain game is better than another game, that can be, but this is my order. So let's kick it off with number 5, which is Drift Zone. So my number 5, Drift Zone. This game came out, I think, maybe 1.5, maybe 2 years ago, on the PS Store as a sort of mobile port. I came across it and I was like, this might be interesting. Especially because I saw E36, so I was like, yep, I need to have that. Different cars available in this game. Basically a lot of different type of drift cars. There are, wait, hold on. Pick a random one. Select car. Yeah, here we are with all the different models that I still need to purchase, but less cars than the average game, but then again, there was a mobile port just for fun. So let's just dive right into it. So here we are in the E36. Why is this game number 5? Well, it is fully drift orientated. Drifting is everything there is to do in this game. But the controls are a bit, I don't know, it's a bit weird. This game even works with the wheel, but it's terrible to play with the wheel. So therefore I'm playing this on a controller. It's a bit hard to get used to, but once you get used to it, it's pretty fun, and it will keep you entertained for a few hours at least. There's a lot to do, a lot of like combos, and you need to score the points that are set for the track in order to get like a gold medal or a silver or bronze or whatever. With that you get money, unlock different cars, buy upgrades. And well, if you have those few extra euros or dollars to spend on a PS Store, then this is a fun game to, like I said, keep you entertained for a few hours. It's not the best. It's officially it's a mobile port, but as you can see, or maybe people recognize this part of the track. This is a real life track. I don't know exactly where it is. I think it's I don't know, near, what is that track called? Willow Springs or something? If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. But it's a fun game, and there's a lot of options for tuning the car and changing the wheels and everything. I'll show you guys that in a few seconds. But yeah, it's entertaining. It's for me on at least in the top 5, because the game is fully drift orientated. No racing involved in this game. But then again, there's no multiplayer for as far as I know. And what I'm doing now is just freestyle, and when you do this for like your campaign, you need to get some points and string your combos together or drive a certain line. And that's all there is to it. So it's a bit empty, but I like the effort of putting more drifting games, even though they came from a mobile, to place them onto the console stores and, well, have fun with it. So the next game on the list is Project Cars 2. I'm sorry, I had to change my mic because my USB hub is not allowing me to use my wheel and the microphone and the extended storage at the same time. I only have 2 USB ports on the PlayStation, and for some reason I have tried multiple USB hubs in order to like use the VR and the wheel and the extended storage hard drive and all that sort of stuff, but it keeps disconnecting or throwing the wheel out or cutting the microphone off. So I'm now using the normal microphone in the controller, so that explains why it sounds a little different, so excuse me for that. But here we go with Project Cars 2, which is number 4 on the list. Why is this number 4 on the list? Because it only has two drift cars. It has the Van Gittin Jr.'s Mustang, and it has the MX-5. And the Mustang is even DLC you need to buy, which I've done because I was sick of having a game that I was not able to really play with because it was so hard to drift. The MX-5 is so hard, and this Mustang is really a world of difference. So why this game? Graphics very good, physics quite decent as far as I know. I mean, I've never driven a 700 or 800 horsepower or even 1000 horsepower car, which I understand can be a little bit out of control. So do some private testing, go to my favorite track and just go for it. Or at least in this game, my favorite track for drifting. Like I said, this game is number 4 on the list just because there is drifting. It has some drift orientated or purposely built drift cars in it, but there's no challenges to do with drifting, no races or like championships or points modes or whatever. So this game doesn't have anything separate for drifting. It's just included because it's sim enough to be taken seriously. The online community is a lot better. I've played this with friends online a lot, getting doors, which is pretty doable. Go here, load that one, go back, start. Hopefully now it's not disconnecting the wheel. Plus side is I have had a little bit of practice, because when I first started up this game and started drifting, it was so hard because the car didn't want to do what I wanted to do, because every game feels different, every game has different physics, and they're all based on the same thing, like how it should be in real life, but it was very different coming back to this game, even after playing it for, I don't know, I've played it a little while, but then if you don't play it for a few months, oh, yeah, there we go. Also, front tires are a bit shite, they're still cold. Let's at least warm up the rears. There we go. Also, the pros about this game is that the steering feels quite decent. Not as perfect as I wanted it to be, but it feels pretty good. Also, the clutch, gearbox and everything, that is perfect. Gran Turismo, take note. But it's fun, it's realistic, it's a sim drifter. And even knowing what I know now about setting up a car, I might even be able to still... Shut up. I'm drifting, you should be able to heat up the tires. Tires are a bit too warm. That guy doesn't know drifting. That's why this is not a real drifting game, it's just... It makes it available and the physics are good enough that you can slide this on your wheel. On the controller it's a bit different story, same as games like Assetto. It's not really made for a controller, this is a bit easier but still not really the best. That's why it's only number 4 in the place on the list, and just above that other game, which is drift orientated, but then it's so arcadey and so bad that this is the better drift game and better to get doors on. Also, this has online, so you can rip around with your friends on this, and the other game you can't. So that's why this is number 4 on the list and not number 5. But this game should have had more drift cars, or at least being able to drift with more cars, because if you have a non-drifting car, you barely have any angle. The car is not designed to be sliding. There's a lot of getting angle and throwing it back. Like, it's not really smooth. I'm kind of understeering a bit. Also, my tires are wearing out because I do a private session and not just the online lobby where the tire damage is off. So I'm getting less and less grip by the minute. But the handbrake works, gearbox works, clutch works, and it works really well. Yeah, I start to slide out because my tires are gone and so anyways, Project Cars 2, 4th place on the top 5. Let's get on with the next game. So number 3 on the list, Gran Turismo Sport. Why is this number 3? Well, the physics are getting better and better every time, but there is just nothing more than the physics letting you able to slide. There is a drift mode in the game, but that's only like drift trail, and you can only do it in an offline. So there's no online point system like they had in previous GTs, where you just did your run and then of course manual, where you did your run and you scored points by that, and then you can compete with other players, like how many points can you stack up doing one lap basically. And this is, well, the fact that I really like this game is that there is a lot of tracks, a lot of cars, a lot of stuff. I think it's all set and ready to go. Wow. Okay, after jumping from a game like let's retry that, from Project Cars to this, that's a big leap. Let's get into it a bit. There we go. For me, even as well, it's an eye-opener to just play these games back to back and then feel the immediate differences. Feels like this game has a bit more grip in some sort of way. Most people think that this game is very slidey especially on the wheel, but with the right amount of like tweaking and everything, and not running the most shit tires. This game is pretty good now. Yeah, give me those points. This game has a lot to offer in terms of cars. I mean, there are hundreds of cars now in the game, and it looks so good. Also, with all the liveries you can do yourself. I mean, I have my YouTube name, Sliding Dutchman, on the back. Making advertisements for myself, and I noticed that when I do good in online lobbies and I have some people following me, then when I close the session I gain a few subscribers because I've seen it and they're like, hey, let's check that out. A very big plus side is that Gran Turismo is very good on the controller as well, which makes it very easy to pick up, and the community is very big on this game.
There's always people online drifting, racing, whatever. Even doing like real life driving, like keeping you on the speed limit, even cops driving around. Now with the addition of the extra cop cars that I've placed, let's just do another one because it was so fun. It has VR, and if you do this in VR, then, well, I have videos of that on my channel, so if you want to see how that is, that's even better. Oh, we're going off. Bit too hard of an entry. Yeah, talking and driving, especially when you concentrate, is a bit hard, but this game has so much to offer, such a big community, and it keeps growing. Every month we get an update with new cars, new track, new modes even, or like challenges, single player things to do. So this game will be supported till the next GT basically comes out, I reckon. And also because this is still growing, and with every update they do, they upgrade the physics system, because if you compare this to like the first build of the game, it is ridiculous. Also, like if you look at the cars, there's so many good cars here just to have fun in, racing, drifting, even some other stupid stuff that we do. And yeah, that's why I placed this on number 3 above Project Cars, because it's sort of the same type of game, but it has so much more to offer, so much more cars to drift in, have more fun in, a lot bigger community, and that's why it's on the 3rd spot on my top 5 list. So let's go on to the number 2.
So here we are on the number 2 of my list, Car X Drift Racing. I did a review on this game on, I think it was even the previous video I did on my channel, because I had this recently, played it a lot now, purchased some cars, and let's just go out in one of my favorite cars, which is the Chaser, because you know what? No, let's just go out in the BMW. Keep that string going. E36. So yeah, I'm just gonna jump into a random lobby. That's what I'm gonna do, because that's where all the potential is, in my opinion. Here we go. St. Petersburg? Nah. East Toge? Yeah, why not? So this game is a mobile port as well, but a lot better controls, doable on the wheel. In my first review I did of the game, I was like, it's very hard on the wheel, but I was playing with this car, and this car is really hard on the wheel, and I haven't figured it out yet. Some cars are way better to drift and to drive. As you can see, this game also has real life tracks, even more. This is Abasu, as you can see. A lot more tuning options, stickers, liveries, everything you can do. But the best thing about this game is, like I said in the previous review video, is the drift orientated things in this game. That's why it's scoring higher than, like, for instance, GT, because GT is a very good game. Physics are pretty good now, after all those updates. but it's not drift orientated. You can drift, you can do drift modes, score points like I showed you, but this is more drift orientated, and if it's going purely for the drift scene, this game has it all, sort of. Also on the wheel, it takes a little bit of time and struggling to get like the tunes just right, but when you have it just right, it even comes close to Assetto on the wheel, and it's nothing compared to the... Oh, sorry mate. Nothing compared to the controller. The crash really made me forget what I was about to say. But the controller is a very arcadey way of playing it. Very enjoyable still, but with the right amount of time and work into it, this game is just very fun to do on the controller and also on a wheel. That's why it's scoring a second place for me on this game, on this top 5 list, because I think there's only one game better for drifting or more sort of preparing you for the real life thing, as I discovered. But I'm see if someone wants to do a little battle. I'll show you guys that. Who wants to do a duel? Oh, look at that livery though. Come on, join in. Anyone. So you like create a challenge online. Just click what section you want to do or what type, and then no one wants to join. In this case, that's why I usually play with friends, because then it's easier, and sometimes with randoms you get good tandems, but sometimes people are just doing their own thing. Might as well go single player in that case. Oh, too straight. Too much. Also a lot of cars in this game. At least drift scene cars. Cars you expect in the drift scene all around the world. I mean, Japanese cars, of course. But if you come to Europe, then E36 or E30 is very, very common. E46s as well now, because since the E36 is getting a bit more expensive, prices are slowly going up, so the cheap beaters or alternatives are the E46s. But also like old Lada, which you see in Russia a lot. Also a lot of chases there though. So hard to get that corner right though. But easy way to make money. If you see the multiplier on top, I'm scoring points. All those points you get go times, depending the car class that you have, times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you have a car on class 5, it goes times 5, and you get those points as cash. So it's very easy to make cash. But everything is very expensive, like millions. So it's a good thing that you can make money that fast. I've noticed with some buddies on the PC, because it's cross-platform, you can play with PC players, but I've noticed that if you play with PC players, then sometimes they have different cars. They show up as an R34 as far as I know, but we're missing some cars, and also cars are way cheaper on PC. So if you have it on, if you have a good PC, I highly recommend you playing this game on PC. It's a lot cheaper. And more cars. You have the same tracks, that's just DLC though. The console version has all the tracks in it, but it's just missing a few cars, but maybe we'll get that through updates. Anyways, this is a console top 5 list, so I'm dealing with what I have. And since I've did a review on this very recently, I think a lot of people have seen this game, seen this, what it is. If you want to know more about this game, I highly recommend check out that video, because I go a little bit more in depth on like the tuning, how the challenges work, everything. You get like the clipping points and the cones and the really point orientated drifting. So let's move on to the number 1, which I think most of you can already guess.
So, a lot of people might have guessed it, but my number 1 of the top 5 best drifting games till this date on PS4 is Assetto Corsa. Why Assetto Corsa? It doesn't have the biggest car list, or at least on console, let me state that clear, because on PC this game has the biggest modding community for all of what the drifters want. Tracks, cars with every type of body kit or style or engine swap or white body you can think of. There is just so much on the PC. Unfortunately, I don't have a PC, so I still play this for fun on the console. Let me just go to Drift Japan, which is the most overused track, but at least we have a little bit of a full lobby then. Let's see what they drive. And I want to drive a Supra. Let's join these French fellas. Also with shit cars, come on. Again, shit cars, come on. You're not really showing off now. Let's just do a standard lobby. There's one E30 available, that's mine. So, why Assetto Corsa? Because these physics are so on point. Shifting, clutching, handbraking, steering, it does what you want it to do. And especially in the beginning days when I was trying this game out and not was as good as I am now. Not that I'm gonna be any good now, because I haven't picked this game up because I'm playing a little bit less video games lately. But especially when trying it, mostly it was just blaming myself instead of the game. Like, come on, the game doesn't do what I want. No, it was like, I missed it. I lost it. I didn't counter steer enough or something like that. Let me. Also, as some people might know, I started with this game, and then after a certain while I was so fed up with it, I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do this in real life. I bought myself an E36, started drifting in real life. I never really started drifting or doing weird stuff. I maybe did a donut 1 or 2, but not really like drifting. And that's when you play with randoms. He just knocked me off my whole, what I wanted to say. Oh yeah. So I started drifting real life, and I just hopped in the car, went at it, and I just linked, well, not the first time of course, but as soon as I was into drift, it felt familiar. It's like, oh, I've done this before. I know this feeling, this momentum. And I think momentum is keyword in drifting. If you can carry the momentum of when you're gonna flip the car and everything, that's really helpful. And this game helps so much with that. This is so close to real life, even though the PS4 version is a bit more slippery than like the PC when they have the graphics a bit more refined and sophisticated. Come on, keep driving, dumbass. Bashing into me and spin out in the first corner. Only thing is that I needed to say is that this game is made for a wheel. If you're gonna play this on a controller, it does work, but you're gonna have a bad time. It's not as realistic as you want it to be, and really this game shines out when you have a wheel, and it's, like I said, it's made for a wheel. But this game is so much fun, especially when you get like a group of friends online, you get really close tandems, you can really crawl onto each other's doors, hitting like mirrors and everything, because this game is so refined and sophisticated that you can place the car wherever you want. And get out of my way. and still manage to save it. I mean, Project Cars or GT, a tap like that, you start spinning, you're not gonna save it. But this is just so satisfying. Still the best drifting game out there. If you have a decent PC and you want to get sim racing or like sim drifting, or you want to drift in real life, I highly recommend playing Assetto Corsa with the wheel, because that will really boost your skills and make you able to slide. I mean, my first drift event that I went out, I was not the worst drifter on track, and there were people that were doing it for a longer period of time than me, and I was there for the first time, and I was not the greatest, but I was by far not the worst guy on track. Some people were spinning out constantly, and after I just spun a few times, I started to get a hang of it. I felt really I felt confident with the car and what I was doing, so I started throwing it in harder. I spun a few times, of course. That video is even on my channel, first day of drifting. But yeah, it was just really, I just started linking the track, doing the lunges across the straight, and by the end of the day that was. But I have that all to thank to Assetto Corsa, which really prepared me for drifting in real life. Also, with all the tunes you can do with this, you can really feel the difference what you can do to the car. And little things like driving like this, you clutch kick, and wants to kick out immediately. Oh, a bit too fast. Let's see if we can do a reverse entry. As you see, it snapped back, so that is doable, but I just overshot it a little bit. Was too late with the entry. That would have been a sick one though. It was almost a 180. That's it. So that is my top 5 list of best drifting games on PS4 so far. If there's any game I have missed in my top 5, then please let me know. I'm not counting games as Need for Speed, because that's so arcade. It's just hit the gas and tap the brake once to make it drift. Or a game like The Crew, which is also so arcaded. I'm not including it because I want a game to be like, or really similar like drifting, or really drift orientated like Drift Zone is, or like Car X, which is not the like Car X is, like I said, is not the highest rating game in terms of sim racing until you get your setup right, then it comes close. But it's with all the challenges you can do, clipping points, touch and goes, and everything you have in those game modes, that for the real drifters among us, they will enjoy that. It's also not full price. It came from mobile, was a mobile port, but I've already told you that, guys, that already. I just want to know, what do you think of my top 5 list? Would you have done something differently? Place them in a different order? Like I said, do I miss any game? Did I overlooked any drifting game? Because I will check that out if that is the case. I want to thank you guys all for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I wish you a very safe and happy new year. Best of luck in 2020, and I will head back to my E36 in real life to get that back on the road as one of the first things I do in the next year, because things came up and I had to do other stuff and other responsibilities, so the drifting went a bit on the back burner. But it's really frustrating me not being able to drift anymore, and it's getting under my skin. That's why I'm stepping back to the drifting on in the virtual way, because I need my drift fix basically. So that will come soon at the beginning of the next year. But until then, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Smash that like button. Please leave a comment. Not that I need like money from YouTube, because I'm not doing it for the money. I just like to interact with the community, with other drifters. Whatever questions you may have, or feedback or whatever, love to hear it. I usually respond to any comments. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for watching. Peace.